Can this mini PC be the new sweet spot for price to performance computing? We'll definitely take a look to see how it holds up. And off the bat, I need to thank Tim from Team Pandori for lugging it to Computex in Taipei for me, since Getorli couldn't send this to Australia from their Amazon warehouses. Instead, we organised to have it sent to Tim's house and he delivered it personally. That's as far as we went though. I didn't let him buy me a drink, or cop a feel. Yet. Alright, let's check out this mini PC we lovingly gave the nickname of Gatorade during the event. At first glance, the selling point for this one is definitely its price relative to current market conditions. It's not a whole lot more than an Intel N100 or N150 mini PC, but this GT103 model comes with AMD's much more powerful Ryzen 6600H, a mid-range 6-core 12-thread CPU with Radeon 660M integrated graphics from a few years back. Impressive at the time, less impressive now, but for the asking price, not too bad at all. Getorli's GT103 is a good looking box with a simple two-tone design and mixes metal lids with a plastic midsection. However, the plastic does creak a bit in the hands, although it doesn't feel as cheap as some of the entry-level units we've come across over the years. Included is a not so compact 90-watt power supply, HDMI cable, monitor mount, and screws. Getorli sells the 512GB SSD, 16GB RAM model for $360 on Amazon.com, which is quite reasonable. Unfortunately, elsewhere, it's not the same price, even on their website, where it's way more expensive. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the ports. On the front, dual USB-A 10GB along with a fully featured USB-C port. Yep, supports power delivery and display. There's a 3.5mm audio jack next to the power button. Wi-Fi 6 chip is used for wireless and Bluetooth. The back has the barrel jack input for the power supply, dual gigabit LAN, HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, USB-A 10GB, and USB 2. Now, let's have a look inside. 4 easy to access screws, and lift the lid. Inside is a metal plate we need to remove, which is a fan and provides cooling for both the soldered LPDDR5 6400 RAM and the SSDs. Yep, no SODIMM slots here, so 16GB is what you get and is not upgradable or replaceable. On the bright side, it is the fastest RAM the chip supports. Windows 11 Pro scan clean of any malware, while Ubuntu works no problem on this mini. Alright, so the good news is we've already looked at a Ryzen 6600H mini PC fairly recently, so most of the benchmarks are there to compare against. The Getorli GT103 does have a performance mode in the BIOS, and that was tested out alongside its out-of-box setting. AMD's 6000 series was the last generation where they were still substantially behind in single-core performance compared to equivalent Intel CPUs. The Getorli does match the chewy mini PC with the 6600H, although that one did perform a little better with performance mode, while this one did not. In multi-core, it's close to matching its competitor, but the performance mode gives the chewy a boost of almost 10%, while we don't see any improvement on the Getorli in this benchmark. Geekbench single core tells the same story. In multi-core, the Getorli does better out of the box, while performance mode only gives a tiny improvement, and the chewy U-Box wins this round when maxed out as well. Next CPU benchmark is video encoding with a short H.264 video file, and out of the box, the Getorli wins, but in performance mode, it falls behind. The far longer AV1 video encoding test has the chewy U-Box in the lead out of the box, and it also does much better when it's maxed out. Switching to an AI workload next, and the Geekbench CPU test shows the U-Box clearly better once it's properly configured. Long story short, it only came with 1 stick of RAM, so the Getorli is the better pick for out-of-box performance. Chewy's U-Box also won the AI GPU test, even though the Getorli has the memory speed advantage. This is an anomaly though, as 3D Mark shows it beating the Chewy slightly, around 3.5% in Firestrike, 2.5% in TimeSpy, and almost 3.5% in Steel Nomad Lite, so the extra 800 mega transfers adds around 3% iGPU performance. Worth it for non-replaceable or upgradable RAM? Well, I guess it depends on your priorities. The Radeon 660M iGPU will be what holds back this mini PC in gaming. That being said, it does okay with simpler esports games and much older AAA titles. Everything is tested using native rendering, no upscalers or frame gen. AMD's Ryzen 6600H makes for a good emulation box, handling stuff up to the PS3 era pretty well. I don't have data on the Chewy for our code compile benchmark, but you can see the Getorli slots in between the 7530U and 7545U. Performance mode made little difference. The Adobe Photoshop result is fine out of the box, but the Chewy U-Box maxed out does jump ahead. In Adobe Premiere, the Getorli gets a win either way, and this score is enough to handle 4K projects pretty well, as I've tested mine with a 6600H previously. There's a generic Gen 3 NVMe drive included, and it's slow by NVMe standards. That being said, it is faster than most M.2 SATA drives, and will be fine for the majority of usage cases. However, stuff like Windows Update is likely to take longer. The SSD doesn't have a temperature sensor, so I can't give a max temp readout. However, as we saw, a thermal pad connected to the metal plate plus the active cooling fan should be plenty. Bluetooth range unfortunately is broken. 1.8 meters for a stable signal to my Bluetooth speaker is bad. It's either bad placement of metal plates or antennas or whatever. Doesn't really matter. It's not the buyer's job to fix it. However, if you're keen on this mini PC and need Bluetooth range, you can add a Bluetooth USB dongle for much longer distances. For Wi-Fi, while Valorant showed a network problem while playing the game at 10 meters or 33 feet from the router using the 5G band, there wasn't any visible issue on screen, and even ping wasn't spiking, so not sure what's up there. And just to make sure, I checked download speeds and they were okay. Idle power draw is good at just 7 watts from the wall, while the maximum did not change between the power modes. The Getorli also uses a little less than the Chewy. Maximum CPU temp is similar to the Chewy U-Box, with a higher power mode adding a couple of degrees. Both units do pretty well here. Fan noise under load isn't bad, but it's not amazing either. Both power modes peak at 42 dBA. It's just quiet mode takes longer to get there. Chewy's U-Box, on the other hand, manage lower noise. Getorli's GT103 is smaller than the Chewy U-Box, but overall a pretty standard size in the current market. Mashing the F2 key on startup will let you enter the BIOS. In advanced is the power mode selector. Getorli calls the default power mode quiet and the high mode balanced. Wake on LAN and the rest are here too. You can head to the graphics configuration to change the VRAM limit. By default it's 3GB, which is okay, but it can be increased or decreased. Alright, mini PC checklist time. I'm going to give this one a pass for the metal case, but as we've already gone over, the midsection is plastic. Build quality isn't amazing, it creaks in the hands, although for the price I think it's okay. There's no bare bones option available, and the power supply is definitely not a compact GAN model. The Mini does support USB-C PD, but it's located on the front, which isn't great placement. There's no option for an eGPU with this one or any other expansion, but there is dual gigabit LAN. It's easy to open the GT103 and it has the max LPDDR5 speed. It's not replaceable though. Out of box performance is okay, but as we saw in the benchmarks, the higher power mode adds little and the 6600H can do better. A mix of active and passive cooling for the RAM and SSD is good. Unfortunately, Bluetooth range is bad, while Wi-Fi seems to be okay. Load fan noise didn't offend, but I'm sticking to my rule of only giving ticks to minis that manage to stay 40 dBA and lower under load. This one didn't pass the audio latency test for audio production. I wouldn't expect any BIOS updates, as I only found driver downloads on the official website. Getorli offers the standard 1-year warranty with their mini PCs. Overall, the GT103 is pretty good for the price. Bluetooth range is the biggest issue, while other aspects are passable or good. If you're looking for a mini PC much better than Intel's N series, yet still reasonably priced, this one's definitely worth checking out, and I've linked it in the video description for you. Oh, and a couple of weeks before this review, I went to Computex, and I've put together a playlist of everything so you can hang out with me there. Right here. Cheers.